Welcome to On the Record, Updates and Echoes, a podcast by the Pocahontas Record Democrat. I'm Erin Summers. We're sponsored this month by Murray Law Firm. Folks, I'm going to start with a story that I know that you're going to start to read it and probably get a little bored. And I apologize in advance because I rewrote it 3 times trying to make it snappier or jazzier. But the fact of the matter is, sometimes stories are just really straightforward and they are news, and you need to read about them because they are important. I went to a meeting Wednesday night with Pocahontas Area Community School officials where they talked about a $20 million bond that they want to bring in front of voters in Pocahontas County. There are a lot of things in the school district that do need to be repaired. There are some areas that they'd like to expand. There are some things they'd like to move. They explained all of it, and I go through a lot of it in the story. It is not an exciting story, guys. I tried. I really did. But the fact of the matter is it's really important, and if you're going to vote on this fall, which school officials are hoping that you will, you should probably read this story and get started. You know, so often these kind of votes come up, and no one goes to the meetings, and virtually no one reads about it when I write about it. And then some of those same people are surprised when they find out their taxes are going up. Please read it. I think what the district is doing is good work. They've done a lot of background to get this put together. A lot of your community members have already been involved in a task force. And I would say there were almost 70 people at that meeting. So read about it, form an opinion, ask some questions. It's really important. In other news this week that I won't get so preachy about, Pocahontas City Administrator Laura Holmes told the City Council at their May 18th meeting that she's resigning. The rest of the meeting really focused on a number of questions about all kinds of financial and budgeting topics. There's a lot in there to unpack. You should definitely read that one as well. 4th grade students from Pocahontas Area Community School, Pocahontas Catholic School, and Lorenz Marathon visited the expo grounds May 14th to learn more about agriculture. This is always such a fun event, and my favorite part is when the younger kids get to talk with high schoolers about the farm animals that those older kids show for FFA or 4-H. On May 21st, I went to Newell to check out the open house and grand opening of Neyland Custom Meats. The line of people waiting for a pork burger was a full block long the entire time I was there, and the customers never stopped lining up to buy packages of their famous barbecue pork burgers. I bought a package for myself, and all of the meat eaters in my house really enjoyed them that last night when we ate them. My 14-year-old ate 2, which is not a surprise. He is a 14-year-old boy, but they're good. You should definitely read about Neyland Custom Meats. Every 6 weeks or so, I get to ask Senator Chuck Grassley 3 questions during a 10-minute phone call. There's always a radio reporter on the line as well, and they get 3 questions as well. Last week, the conversation focused on several farm topics, and I also asked what he could share about the latest with the situation in Iran. He gave an answer that was, in part, a direct message to President Trump. You can read that in all 3 of our papers this week. The Newell-Fonda boys golf team wrapped up their season May 20th, finishing 6th in the Class 1A district tournament in Council Bluffs. In Class 2A regional girls golf, Pocahontas Area tied for 5th with an 18-hole team total of 411 at the regional final in Lake Mills on Wednesday, May 20th. PAC's Carson Wielander finished the 2026 season May 18th at the Class 2A District Boys Golf Tournament in Carroll. He shot an 85. Pocahontas Area Community opened the 2026 varsity baseball season with a 10-0 5-inning win at Pocahontas over Cherokee on May 19th. Several area athletes hit the track for one last time during the 2026 season during the state track championships last weekend. Newell-Fonda's 4x800 relay team made the podium, earning 7th place. Marini Brabeck finished 9th place in the 1500 meter. The distance medley also finished 9th overall. The 4x400 meter relay finished 16th in the prelims, while the shuttle hurdle team finished 18th in the prelims. For Pocahontas Area, Haley Hosworth capped off her season with an 8th place podium finish in the shot put. PAC's girls 4x200 relay team finished 12th overall, while the 4x100 relay team finished 15th in the prelims. For the boys, Adam Marsh ended his season 17th overall in the discus.
I am George Washington. first president of these United States, a man of great courage, wisdom, and
a man who once tried to sign a treaty with the wrong quill. Someone has to supervise.
Martha, please, I'm addressing the nation.
And I'm addressing reality.
I wrote the Declaration of Independence, people.
And I fixed your spelling, Thomas. All of it.
It was perfectly understandable.
To whom?
I'm Alexander Hamilton, and I wrote everything.
Yes, dear, we know. He's been monologuing since breakfast.
I have a lot of thoughts.
And no inner voice.
Even in colonial times, leaders knew that they needed help.
With things like documents, disputes, land, business, and all the other stuff.
And writing, so much writing.
You go to someone who actually knows what they're doing. That's why, in Pocahontas, go to Murray Law Firm. General practice, clear answers, and someone who keeps everyone else from making a mess.
He's been keeping me out of trouble since 1759.
She edits my writing, too.
Someone has to.
Up next, I sit down with Noelle Murray and Tami Nystrom of Murray Law Firm to talk about the first newspaper accounts of the city of Havelock, their hometown. Welcome to the Echoes portion of the podcast. I'm Erin Summers. With me are Noelle Murray and Tami Nystrom of Murray Law Firm. They're our sponsors for the month of May. All right, ladies, since you grew up in Havelock, I went back to look at the Havelock Enterprise. I don't even think I realized until a couple weeks ago that I could find Havelock newspapers online. I knew that some of them were there. It's on the Rolfe Library website if you guys ever need to go look through it, and it is searchable. The search can be tricky, but it is searchable, technically. Names are probably easier than generic terms. But the Havelock Enterprise debuted on April 10th, 1900. Well, that doesn't make sense because that says 1890. Yeah. It debuted in April 10th, 1890. I think I was looking at a paper from 1906 and wrote that down. So, oh well, I'm sorry. This is how typos happen. Yeah. The first edition had a column describing Havelock, its history, and its surroundings. And I just thought this was really like beautiful place setting. And also we drive by Havelock now and it's so little, and I'm like, this was like such a picturesque place to them in 1890. When the pioneer settler on the Little Sioux River had to haul his supplies from Fort Dodge, he frequently came across a tract of prairie in northern Pocahontas County, which he admired as being the most beautiful prairie in his line of travel. He beheld a region of country rolling enough to be well-drained and not too rolling to be hilly, and always spoke of the upper Lizard Valley as one of the most beautiful in the state, its only drawback being the lack of timber. And I was like, wow, like that is a real appreciation for a place there. Yes. Like they were thrilled to be in Havelock. And as someone who grew up in a small town in a boring state, not Iowa, but I don't remember loving the landscape the way this guy loved the landscape here. It goes on to say that everyone admired this bit of Pocahontas County and, quote, predicted for it a future which would give it a place among the favored farming sections of northern Iowa. Is that still true?
I think the farming part is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. I think so too. The first building was a small dwelling put up in February of 1882 by M.B. Parks. W. and H.E. Spurrier commenced the erection of a story building 20 by 20 in March, but running out of lumber, it was not completed till the latter part of April. Gill Brothers commenced the erection of a store building. I think that first one might have been store, and I had a typo again. Sorry, I'm not good at typing and copying. You had a store building, a 20 by 52 size building, so we more than doubled the length, about April 1st, and had the first stock of goods in town, consisting of groceries, dry goods, boots, shoes, etc. They also dealt quite extensively in farm machinery, pumps, etc. E.S. Hulse put up a store building in May and put in a stock of general merchandise. On April 15th, S.H. Gill was appointed to the first postmaster, and for 30 days carried the mail to and from Pocahontas without pay to accommodate his patrons. The railroad company began running mail trains May 15th. In June, Dickey and Fish built a large store building, 22 by 52, 2 stories, and put in a stock of general merchandise. MB Parks also erected a building 20 by 40 and put in a stock of drugs. That is a lot of buildings in 2 months.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I agree.
April and May, it would have been muddy and cold and gross.
Yes, agree. Yeah.
I just thought it, and then I did have some more notes. Havelock got its first building February 1882 and had half a dozen stores by June. And just
Wow.
half a dozen. What would that have looked like? Can you imagine that kind of construction? Just that fast. Plus no timber there, so they're waiting and hauling it in. And I don't know when the rail line went there.
I wonder if any of those buildings they still stand today.
Oh, that's a good question. I might have to look into that.
I think some of them might.
I bet they do.
There's a couple that look pretty, well, even the post office looks like,
The
that
post
facade
office-
looks like the original
the
facade.
old
Yeah.
post office.
Yeah, not the new one. The one that looks like, a Morton building.
Yeah. So I know we've talked about this a little bit before we started recording, but like, what stores do you remember being in Havelock, or businesses were there? Compared to here, we had 6 general merchandise stores, or 3 general merchandise and a drugstore. And what do you remember?
I don't remember the drugstore, but I remember for sure the grocery store.
Shuts grocery store.
Shuts grocery store, yeah. Candy was like, oh my gosh, you could get 10 pieces for a dime.
Yeah,
Or
like
no,
the
even
taffy,
less
the
than
big
that.
flat taffy.
They were a
nice.
dime.
Yeah, I love that.
Um,
And the bus would pick us up right outside of Shuts to go to swimming lessons in Rolfe.
Oh, nice.
And then, Dad would let us have a quarter or something and buy all the candy.
Yeah, I remember going in to town with Dad, and he got I don't know, the car fixed there in town. There was some business there on Main Street on the west side that he would take it to be looked at.
Is that still standing? That
know.
garage?
I don't
There is
know.
a garage there on the west.
There is a garage. I
side.
don't know if it's the same one.
Interesting.
Yeah, and the bank.
The bank.
The bank
Yeah.
was that was a common trip.
Were there many restaurants? Do you remember restaurants?
Yes, the Havelock Cafe.
Okay.
My cousin would visit every summer for the whole summer, and that was her thing, was to go with me to the Havelock Cafe.
Nice. What did you like to get when you were there?
Cheese curds, man.
Oh.
All the cheese
Nice.
curds and French fries.
Nice.
Healthy.
Yeah.
Kids are not supposed to, they're not going to pick healthy
No.
first. Okay, so as I kept looking, then there were a few other tidbits. I think mostly under they just would have these columns of 1 or 2 sentences. July 3rd, 1890. A man from Mallard is putting up an 8 by 10 original package house. This surely is a disgrace to our village. So kid houses were bad.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't understand if that's the size of the house was too small, or
That's
just.
a small house.
It is a very small house,
Yes.
or if it was just those are ugly and we'd custom built. I don't know. I've never read anything particularly disparaging about these kid houses. And they're still common in some places. I don't know around here so much, but we lived in Hawaii for 8 years, and people would buy lumber kits from the lumber yard, and it was a house. And so there were a million of these. They not quite ranch style, but they reminded me a lot of ranch shaped houses.
Yeah.
And I lived in one for several years.
Yeah.
So I just think it's funny that that he's just like, oh, this is terrible. But
judgy.
yes, well, let's continue being judgy. Lest you think that the news editor approved more of people improving homes, he did not. Charles Clinton has been raising his house on the farm, putting in a foundation, cellar, and cistern, and otherwise improving the convenience, if not the beauty, of the place. And that one made me laugh out loud. May 29th, 1890. This is one of the first items under the of local interest heading, and I'm telling you now, we will never know any more than this, but you're going to wonder about it as much as I am, I think. It just says, ask Potter how he likes farming. Who is Potter?
Yeah.
What did he do to make the newspaper editor make fun of him like that at the top of page 1? And Potter is a common enough name, it would be really hard to search for that. I really wish I knew.
Yeah.
I want to know what Potter did wrong.
That may have died with Potter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You may not ever know.
I thought this one was really funny. A gentleman called Tuesday to buy SL Horseman's bull, so don't say it does not pay to advertise. So SL Horseman must have advertised that bull in the Havelock Enterprise, and they needed to brag about that. So, you know what? It still pays to advertise in the newspaper. I'm just saying.
Nice plug.
I work on those. And then the last one that I highlighted, Ed Hostetter, a young vagabond who has been lounging around town for the past month or two, skipped out Tuesday, leaving landlord Hinckley for his board and some other little matters that is no credit to any young man. He was arrested last night at Lorenz. So don't skip out on your rent.
Yes.
Landlord Hinckley will come for you.
And they're going to put it in the paper.
They're going to put it in the paper. Yeah. So what did you, I know you highlighted some. What did we
To
find?
stop, this is from July 3rd, 1890 in the Havelock Enterprise. And number one on the list is R.W. Davis is breaking north of town. Whoa.
Yeah, that is like stop the presses level excitement.
Wow,
right there.
okay. Another one that I think is probably apropos because we're getting ready to get out of school here soon. Our town, it just says, our town, comma, school closed Friday after a very successful term with appropriate exercises.
We don't want to list them all. They did all the normal stuff, right?
And then the last one I'll give you here is, because I think this is great, I'm still waiting for someone to invent it. We think that if some inventor can invent something, and it's something, not something, something to give the mosquitoes the lockjaw, he will be richly rewarded for his trouble.
Oh yeah. Amen. Absolutely. I'm a little sad that was 1890 you said, and it's 136 years later.
They're still killing millions and millions of people every year.
And harassing all the rest of us.
Right.
Well, those are, I hope you enjoyed looking at those as much as I do, because
Very cool.
I find them to be such a delightful slice of life, and like what they were excited about and what those farmers wanted to know was who was breaking ground north of town. They knew somebody was who was doing it, and they hadn't figured it out yet. So that's what the newspaper was for.
Very cool.
All right. Well, thank you again for being our sponsor this month. And thank you to everyone who listens to us. And we will talk with you next week.